Batman versus the Joker is one of the most iconic rivalries in all of fiction. Far more than a traditional hero versus villain conflict, it represents a deep philosophical clash between order and chaos, meaning and absurdity. In many ways, they are the ultimate Tom and Jerry of superhero storytelling, locked in an endless, inescapable game where one represents structure and the other pure disruption. But today, we take that eternal rivalry to its absolute peak and find out what happens when both of them reach their ultimate forms: the Darkest Knight versus Emperor Joker. Let's go. The Darkest Knight started as the Batman Who Laughs on Earth 22. Bruce Wayne finally killed the Joker, inhaled a specialized strain of Joker venom, and lost every moral limit while keeping the detective's genius intact. He slaughtered his entire Bat family, dismantled his world's Justice League, and methodically erased every last person on the planet. When the Dark Multiverse opened, he rose as Barbados' favorite lieutenant, the architect of a campaign meant to drag every reality into the same eternal night. Wonder Woman eventually cut him down with the chainsaw of truth, but that was only the first phase of a plan, years in the making. Long before that confrontation, the Batman Who Laughs had located a dark multiverse Bruce Wayne who discovered the comedian's button and reverse-engineered the traces of Dr. Manhattan's energy it carried. That Bruce built an intrinsic field generator. At the critical moment, the Batman Who Laughs locked him inside the machine. The accident disintegrated him and rebuilt him as a being of pure energy, with powers on the scale of Dr. Manhattan. Before that Bruce could fully claim omnipotence, the Batman Who Laughs lobotomized him and stored the living battery away. After his own death, loyal Dark Knights and a cadre of twisted Alfreds transplanted his brain into that energy body. The result was no longer a man in a costume. He was a living atomic god, wearing the mind of the most dangerous Batman who had ever lived. He named himself the Darkest Knight.
His powers are the complete suite of Dr. Manhattan's abilities, fused with Batman's intellect and further amplified by crisis energy. Absolute control over matter and energy at the atomic level lets him disassemble, reconstruct, or rewrite anything on a whim. He perceives the past, present, and future simultaneously and exists outside linear time. He travels freely across dimensions and timelines, regenerates from near total destruction, projects overwhelming energy, alters his size and form at will, and creates constructs of pure force. After absorbing the memories, instincts, and worst versions of every dark multiverse Batman, his strategic mind operates on a scale no ordinary Batman ever reached. He can create and pull entire dark universes out of the dark multiverse to use as weapons. He can corrupt fundamental forces such as the Speed Force from within. He can even create his own version of the Spectre to serve him. Speed was another extreme. The Darkest Knight kept pace with Barry Allen, Wally West, and Jay Garrick simultaneously while openly mocking them. He broke into the Speed Force itself and corrupted it. When Wally West, who had become powerful enough to potentially defeat Perpetua through his connection to the Mobius chair and the crisis energy he carried, emerged as a genuine threat, the Darkest Knight simply stole all of that crisis energy from him. Then he absorbed even more crisis energy on top of that, surpassing both Wally and Perpetua and becoming the most powerful being in the multiverse.
His conflict with Wonder Woman shook and broke through the sphere of the gods, the metaphysical realm that houses the new gods, the domains of the endless, heaven, hell, and other higher dimensional planes. His actions threatened hypertime itself, the network of every possible timeline and reality, as he moved to overwrite all possibilities with a single reality under his absolute control. His mere presence was enough to begin destroying the bleed, the transdimensional medium that separates and connects the universes. He fought Perpetua, one of the hands from the greater Omniverse, the original creator of the multiverse, and mother of the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger, in a clash that raged across every level of reality and began tearing apart the stories that held existence together. He defeated and killed her, sealing her remains inside the shattered fragments of the Source Wall. The hands themselves, the cosmic beings above Perpetua, later acknowledged that the Darkest Night had reached a level where he could have killed them if left unchecked. That recognition is one of the reasons they intervened indirectly by empowering Wonder Woman with anti-crisis energy. He knocked anti-crisis Wonder Woman so hard she was thrown backward through time to the birth of creation itself. When Superboy Prime, a reality-breaking Kryptonian who had punched through dimensions and rewritten continuity, confronted him, the Darkest Night endured a barrage of punches powerful enough to create a cataclysmic explosion. The blast hurled Superboy Prime back into his own restored world. The Darkest Night remained standing, and still offered the boy the return of his perfect Earth as a casual bargaining chip. At his peak, the Darkest Night is a near-omnipotent multiversal force with perfect tactical awareness, the power to create and destroy universes as tools, the ability to corrupt fundamental forces like the Speed Force and the Bleed, and the mind of Batman, with nothing holding him back.
Emperor Joker is one of the most nightmarishly powerful entities to ever walk the DC universe, a version of the clown prince of crime who briefly became something close to a living god of pure, weaponized madness. He didn't gain these powers through any serum or accident of science. He stole them. Mr. Mixie, the fifth-dimensional imp, offered Joker a mere 1% of his power as a casual experiment. Joker, being Joker, tricked the imp into revealing his true name and walked away with 99.9% of that power instead. In roughly 69 seconds, he remade the entire universe in his own image and stuffed what remained of Mixie into a closet on the moon. What that power actually looks like is almost hard to overstate. Now, Emperor Joker possessed near total omnipotence and omniscience, drawn from fifth-dimensional reality warping. He could rewrite existence on a whim, reshape time, erase concepts from existence, create or destroy matter at will, impose whatever twisted joke he found funny onto the fundamental structure of the cosmos, and grow steadily more comfortable, and therefore more powerful, the longer he held the energy. The longer he possessed it, the closer he came to dominating all time and space. His insanity was no longer a limitation, it became an amplifier. Where Mr. Mixie still operated with some residual sense of restraint, he liked having a playground left to mess with, Joker simply did not care how much damage he caused. That lack of concern let him push the same powers further than the imp ever had. The scale of what he did is the stuff of cosmic horror dressed up as dark comedy. He annihilated the entire population of China, over 1 billion people in an instant, and then consumed their skulls out of a Chinese takeout container with chopsticks while laughing and burping. He sat on a throne as literal emperor of the rewritten universe, with Harley Quinn as his maiden-in-waiting, Lex Luthor as his court jester, and Bizarro as Earth's greatest hero. With a single thought, he transformed the Justice League into grotesque parodies of themselves, who could no longer remember who they once were. Aquaman became a humanoid fish unable to enter water. Wonder Woman was rewritten into a fearful housemaid who hated men and felt constant guilt. The Flash became the Flab, an overweight speedster who used his powers only to devour junk food and wheezed from the effort. Martian Manhunter was reduced to a 3-foot-tall Marvin the Martian look-alike, compensating for a Napoleon complex. Plastic Man could only turn into credit cards and ATM cards. Green Lantern was transformed into a yellow paper lantern. He killed the Robins and casually played cards with the corpses of Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, and Jason Todd, Jason's body even wearing a sign that read, "Why didn't anyone call to save?" And that alone shows you just how ridiculously powerful Emperor Joker really is. During the original Death in the Family storyline, DC actually let readers call in and vote on whether Jason Todd should live or die. The majority voted for death, and Joker famously killed Jason with a crowbar. But here's where it gets insane. Emperor Joker later displays a sign around Jason's corpse, referencing that real-world reader vote. That means Joker wasn't just aware of what happened inside the story, he was aware of the audience outside the story itself.
In other words, Emperor Joker possessed knowledge that crossed the boundary between fiction and reality, making his awareness far more terrifying than just ordinary fourth wall breaking.
But Batman received the worst of it. Every night, Emperor Joker killed him in new and inventive ways, often with hordes of zombie clowns, only to resurrect him with full memory of the previous day's agony, so the cycle could begin again. Batman himself admitted he had reached the point of doubting his own existence, and the same power let Joker casually infect and effectively lobotomize some of the most powerful beings in the DC universe. When Darkseid approached Ganthet, Wizard Shazam, Highfather, Zeus, and the Phantom Stranger to warn them that Joker now possessed something on the level of the anti-life equation, it was already too late. Emperor Joker had already rewritten their minds. Darkseid himself posed no real threat. So when Emperor Joker trashes beings like the Wizard Shazam, Zeus, Highfather, Ganthet, and the Phantom Stranger, you know this version of Joker is operating on a completely different level. Superman, the Spectre, and what little remained of Mr. McSpelzy's power all recognized the same terrifying truth. Emperor Joker was tearing apart the fundamental fabric of the cosmos. He was on a path to unravel everything that is, was, or ever would be. Physical force meant almost nothing against him. He could have obliterated Superman with a thought and simply chose not to, preferring torment and the game. Yet the same thing that made Emperor Joker so dangerous was also the only real leash he still wore. He retained just enough of his original human obsessions that he could not fully erase Batman. Without Batman, there is no Joker, at least not in the way he understands himself. That single psychological dependency created a paradox at the heart of his new godhood. Superman forced him to confront it. The moment Joker tried to prove he could erase Batman completely, the contradiction unraveled his control. The remaining fragment of Mr. McSpelzy's power, together with the Spectre, seized the opening and reclaimed the stolen reality warping energy. Reality snapped back to the second before the takeover. Even after the universe was restored, the damage lingered. Batman was left broken and traumatized by the countless deaths. Superman took those memories into himself so Bruce could continue functioning. And Joker was returned to the slab, stripped of godhood, but having briefly held the power to unmake everything. And the craziest part? Mr. McSpelsy himself later admits it was one of his dumbest ideas ever.
So, who wins? Let's find out. Both operate at levels where conventional strength, speed, and durability stop mattering. Both can rewrite reality on a multiversal scale. Both have minds that treat the battlefield like a problem they already solved. The Darkest Knight brings Dr. Manhattan-level atomic mastery, crisis energy amplification, simultaneous perception of all time, the ability to create and weaponize entire universes, and the strategic genius of every dark multiverse Batman, stacked on top of each other. Emperor Joker brings fifth-dimensional reality warping driven by pure, limitless insanity, the capacity to erase concepts and rewrite minds, meta-awareness of the medium itself, and the ability to grow more powerful the longer the fight lasts. And there's another important scaling point. In Superman Reborn, Mr. Mxyzptlk described the mysterious force behind the changes to reality as something, someone, beyond me, far beyond me. That force was ultimately revealed to be Dr. Manhattan, so the statement supports Manhattan operating beyond Mxyzptlk's own level in that context. And the Darkest Knight didn't just wield Manhattan's power, he further amplified it with crisis energy, eventually reaching a level capable of defeating Perpetua and threatening powers above her. That gives the Darkest Knight another major advantage when comparing him to Emperor Joker, whose godhood came from Mxyzptlk's power. In a pure contest of demonstrated power and scale, the Darkest Knight's peak is higher. He killed Perpetua, threatened the cosmic order above her, defeated Superboy Prime, corrupted the Bleed, broke through the sphere of the gods, and operated at a level where the multiverse itself was in danger of being overwritten. Emperor Joker's greatest demonstrated feat was completely rewriting the universe and progressively tearing apart its fundamental fabric. That is terrifying, but the Darkest Knight ultimately demonstrated a higher level of cosmic escalation. In the classic Batman vs. Joker rivalry, Batman always leaves the Joker alive. His moral code and no-killing rule are absolute. This time, that rule no longer exists. The Darkest Knight is pure evil given form, a Batman who discarded every last limit, every moral restraint, and every reason to hold back. He will not hesitate to kill the Joker. And deep down, this is still the same eternal clash, Batman versus the Joker. One carries Dr. Manhattan's reality warping power, amplified by crisis energy. The other wields the near-omnipotent reality warping might of Mr. Mxyzptlk. But the fundamental dynamic remains. Just as Batman has always found a way to overcome the Joker, the Darkest Knight does the same here. But this time, Batman isn't leaving the Joker alive. The Darkest Knight wins.